All right, guys, we're going to talk about the first level of influence, which is learning. And so I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. And last week, I know that you guys talked with Kim about the 5 levels of leadership. So the next couple of weeks, we're going to go over each one. And this level is really foundational in that you can't adequately go on to the other levels without mastering this one. And in this first level of leadership, you're going to see here on the little stair steps that we're going to talk a lot about foundational qualities that you need to have as a leader and pass on to your team before you can move up to the top, which is where we want to be, to develop leaders who develop leaders. So learning is all about foundation. And it sounds funny, but we're a lot like children. We're excited, we're passionate, we're full of hunger. Picture a kid like trying out for soccer for the first time. They are so excited, yet they're often very inexperienced. They run the wrong way, they don't know the rules, and that's a lot of how we are as we start growing a team. We are learning and we're so excited, but we really don't have that experience we need. And so that's where duplication really comes in handy, and we need to fall in love with learning. We're never going to stop. We as Plexus Jewels, Kim, Melissa, and I, and Janelle and Stephanie, all of the jewels on our team, we're still learning. There's things that I look back, I would have done completely different 2 years ago. But as I'm learning, I want to pass it on to you guys so that you can also duplicate it for your team. So great leaders are great learners, because you're never going to know it all. You're never going to have this perfect model of how to do things. Things are going to change. Seasons are going to change. You're going to get different people who learn different ways. So I want you to think about this question. Are you zealous to learn and find out all there is to know? Or are you the type of person that's like, I'll just kind of learn along the way? Are you eager to know what works for your team, for your specific runners of your team, or are you just kind of mediocre, going to do whatever your upline is doing? Which is a great place to start, don't get me wrong. When I started, Kim and I worked very closely with Melissa and pretty much just duplicated everything she did. But what we found was things that would work amazing for Melissa's team maybe wouldn't work that great for our team. Things that have worked great for Kim's team don't always work for my team. And so you kind of have to get to know and learn about your team, your specific team. Within your team, you're going to have people that learn different ways and who are excited about different things. So in the early years, what you learn is far more important than what you earn, meaning you're going to learn more than you're probably making. I know some people are eager to hurry up and get to Emerald or to Diamond, but to get there, you really have to learn how to walk. I thought about a story that one of our teammates told me. He posted a graphic and it said, children never learn how to run right away. They have to learn how to walk. And oftentimes they fall a lot when they're learning to walk, but they don't stop. They continue to learn, in that falling and learning balance then leads to walking, which leads to running. I don't ever think that there's ever been a child that just started running out of the blue. They've had some sort of training along the way. What you learn is going to determine what you will earn later on. If you're of the mindset of, I'm going to continue to learn about my team, learn about this business, how it changes, you're going to go to the top. If you're of the mindset of, okay, I've learned this and I'm kind of going to put it, compartmentalize it in a box, you're going to stay at that level. You're not going to be able to evolve with your team in the changing times ahead. So there are 2 parts of learning. One part is the art of learning, and the art of learning is sort of like your basis. Without a base of correct thinking, learning is going to be difficult, and the proper learning activities will be resisted, missed, or at least not fully utilized. So this is kind of like your very first foundation. You've got to understand that you're not going to know it all, and we have to learn, and it's okay. And the education can occur when the concept of learning has been understood. So kind of like what I just said, you have to know that you've got to continually be educated over and over again. Learning can happen in many different ways. We must not get stuck in this is the only way to learn. I am a very visual person, and I'm a very auditory person. So I love looking up some of my mentors via YouTube versus reading a book. My life is very busy with 5 kids. I may have great intentions of reading a book, but in reality, even just reading this book for this Sunday night Zoom is challenging for me to find the quiet time to actually sit down and read each chapter each week. So that's pushing me. I love to listen to Audible on my cell phone, and so there's many different ways. Don't get into a kind of bubble thinking you can only learn this one way. There's so many different ways. And then this point is like the key point. Leaders not only learn, but they apply what they learn. I have so many great people on our team. They love looking up thousands of YouTube videos, but they don't do anything with them. We have to make sure that we're applying these concepts that we're being taught. And so that's very, very important to our growth. So there's no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs, and you have to take those stairs that we kind of talked about in the beginning. Opportunities to learn are all around us. They're not just at convention or leaders retreat. There are many times that our team, like tonight, is holding a learning Zoom. There's times that there's conference calls. There's so many opportunities. You can learn from any source. One of the things I want to touch on is your upline and your downline. I don't want you to discredit your downline, people below you. It's very easy to get into that mindset of, I'm their upline, I should be more knowledgeable. I learned so much from my downline, it's ridiculous. They teach me so much every week about just how they see things. It's different than me. And the same with my upline. They look at things at a different angle. And so that's why Kim and I stress so much power partners, getting to know your team, because you can learn a lot from one another. We're all created differently, and we all have a piece of this puzzle. And once we see each other's strengths and work within that, we can put this whole puzzle together much faster than just focusing on our one piece. The best education is going to come from those that have had success in this business. So if you're looking up YouTube videos, you want to look at people that have had success, like Sonia Dudley, Jen Hawkins, Celeste Gwynn, Melissa Eichenhorst, Sarah Marble. You don't want to be power partnering with somebody that's really struggling to find PV. It's a great thing to kind of partner in encouragement, but it's not a wise idea to partner in business. And there's a difference. If you're looking to further your Plexus business, you really need to find somebody that has gone before you, paved the way, and can really help you in different areas you need help. So success begins with information from the correct source, which kind of goes back to what I was saying. The second thing is the science or the action of learning. Learning is great, but if there's no action, you're not going to get any results, and you're not going to move up that stair step to success. These are the skills of learning, and these are the things we need to do as leaders to pass on to our team. These are things we're going to continually need to pass on. As we sign more people, we're going to have to keep reminding them. Duplication. So there's a bunch of little skill sets that we're going to talk about in here. The first skill set is learning about people. People are what make our business grow. I mean, you can't rank up without people, but you can't look at your team as one type of person. It's like I always used to tell my students in teaching math, I'm going to explain it a bunch of different ways because some of you learn very hands-on, some of you learn very auditory, some of you learn it very visual, and so you need to see it these different ways because you all are different people. People are what leadership is about. It's through them that we have our influence, and we want to be influential leaders. We need to influence the with, through, and for our people. They are individuals that have a need and have a why. We need to become experts at dealing with people. That means not being superficial. You know, the whole, how's it going? I'm really hoping that you'll rank today, when secretly you're like, oh, I don't really know where they're at. I don't care. You know, you really need to get to know that personal relationship. And not surface level. I really try to connect one-on-one with my level 1 and 2 leaders, and then connect with their leaders, because we're all a team. I want to know who their people are and get to know them. And they do a great job of duplicating that with their teams. And the ones that I've seen do it are really growing their teams. So character is a crucial element. A leader needs to care more than she knows. It's that old saying, nobody's going to know how much you care until they care about how much you know. I think I said that wrong, but you get the idea. It's about knowing your people, knowing their struggles. It goes beyond Plexus. It really does. The thing I love about this business is that it's a family. I can count on my team to pray for me when I need prayer. I hope that my leaders can count on me to pray for them. I want to know what's going on in their lives beyond just the Plexus side. You need to learn about your people. That means not just their rank advancement goals, but how's family life going for them. If they're struggling this month on the business side, it might be because there's something going on outside of their Plexus bubble that you need to be praying or encouraging them about. And this is an ongoing process. You can't just check in with your people once and say, okay, see you later. It doesn't work. You really have to connect with them. I truly love every one of my people on my team. They are amazing leaders, and I believe that their teams are being blessed because they are duplicating that genuine love for their people. And then you need to learn about the basics. I know this should seem like a duh moment, but it really gets overlooked. I think about kids playing sports, and they want so bad to just go to like the major leagues. But even in the major leagues, you have to know those fundamentals. You're not going to have to teach how to throw a baseball or how to bat, but you still need to reinforce those. Everything that you know at the top, you learn at the bottom. So you're going to learn these things, and yes, it might be hard, but it's so important. As a leader, we cannot skip this step. As we learn, we're going to fail, but we're going to get back up and keep going. We're not going to just stop and say, oh, I can't throw a baseball. I'm never going to be a baseball player. You keep practicing. You keep learning. And then you have to reinforce that. And that means don't stop that. And help your team to duplicate that. Another skill set is learning about goals and objectives. This goes beyond just, what are your monthly goals? It's the beginning of the month. I know we all like to do that, but it's important as a leader to direct your team. If you have a young team that has a goal that's really way too high for their team and organization and is going to set them up for failure, you as a leader need to be able to come alongside them and help encourage them. A team can't hit a target that does not exist. So you might have to help them make some goals. And I've done that with some of my starting out teams when either their goal seems really too lofty or they don't really know how to make a goal. You as the leader need to articulate that vision of the goal to your team before they're achieved. So if your goal, let's say, is to create massive momentum, you need to kind of spell it out for your team. What does that look like? What exactly do you want me to do? Because saying create massive momentum is great, and it's like that, yes, let's go, but then it's like, well, I don't really know how to make that happen, and it can be very discouraging for your team. So encourage them with like, okay, we're going to create massive momentum by, let's have a flash sale. Let's add X amount of people this month, levels 1 through 3. Let's add X amount of customers this month. It can be anything, but you need to articulate with your team what that is and how to make that happen oftentimes. You need to learn about the process. That means you need to evaluate and adjust. Sometimes you as a leader may see a vision at the beginning of the month, and maybe the rest of your team doesn't quite catch that vision like you had hoped. It happens a lot. You then need to make an adjustment, and it's okay. Your team is not going to see things the way you see it all the time. You have to help them get to where you are. And you need to learn about measurements of performance. That means you can't just be like, I feel like I'm going to add 500 people this month. That's a great goal to have, but if you look at the facts that last month you added 50 people, adding 500 is not a great goal to have. You're not looking at the facts of what happened. It's very important because not only is that setting your team up for failure and frustration, it's setting you up for failure and frustration and burnout because you're setting these really high goals that really can't happen. Oops, wrong way. And then learn about rewards. This is huge. I always tell people, if you only knew the potential of the compensation plan. If you could see what I see as an Emerald Ambassador, you would never stop. You would never think about quitting. You would go as hard as you can to get to where I am. Because even if it took me 5 years to get to Emerald, it would be worth it. You need to study our comp plan and learn how to get paid, because even as an ambassador, a silver, a gold, senior gold, ruby, there is potential to make amazing money. You might not be able to retire as a silver ambassador, but it can lead you up to Emerald, Sapphire, Diamond. You need to understand and convey that with your team that this opportunity we have is like no other. There is no other organization out there that does what Plexus does. And then learn about your histories. This is where, they say history is bound to repeat itself if you don't look at it. It's so true, because knowing the history of your organization and seasons of your Plexus business can help you encourage your team. It can help you plan. If you know that from January to April is serious Plexus signing amazement, you can help your new people see that. If you know that typically December is a slow month, then when your team who are new start being like, well, I didn't really sign as many people I wanted, you can encourage them that, hey, look, this season over here is coming. Knowing what happened in the past, what contests worked, what contests totally flopped. And believe me, you're going to have contests that totally flop. I have done it. Kim has done it, where we had this great idea in our mind, and it was like, oh, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. And we did it, and it was terrible. And it didn't do anything we wanted. So we had to learn that, okay, that didn't work for our team. And then looking from people that are successful, this flash sale that Kim and I are doing, we got from Timmy Yancey, who is a Diamond Ambassador. She did it yesterday, posted it on the Jules page. She signed 175 ambassadors on her team in one day. That's amazing. So we looked at that and said, let's try it. Learn from your failures. If it doesn't work, it's okay. The key, though, is that failure is supposed to teach you a lesson that is tuition toward a future success. Failure is not made to knock you out of the game. It's to help teach you what you need to work on to do better or not to do at all. So learning about your environment, we talk a lot about creating a culture of success. And what that means is that you as a leader are in charge. It's your job, in a sense, to empower your team. Exciting, positive, encouraging environment where mistakes are okay, as long as they're learned from, is what you need to create. You need to create success that is rewarded. That means the 500,000, 2,500 PV. I signed one ambassador. I signed 2 ambassadors, celebrating with them for getting their first customer. These are baby steps that lead up to the big picture. And then you as the leader set the tone. You create the environment. If you're not celebrating your team, don't expect them to be all gung-ho when you want to have a lot of ambassadors join your team, do an ambassador blitz, because you're not recognizing when they're doing that. You need to create that environment for your team. Another amazing skill set, I think this is one of my favorites, because this is where I see so many people fall off the Plexus wagon, is they figure that ambassador to success is this straight, narrow, easy road, and it's not. You're going to encounter roadblocks along the way. I can't help all of them. I try to help my team get a lot of them out of the way, but some of them you're just not going to see coming. Some of them you're just going to be blindsided by. But as a leader, you're going to be wise and diligent in defining them as a necessary part of learning. I look at my kids and I think about if I wasn't hard on them and allowing them to fail, then they wouldn't learn. They wouldn't be stronger as kids to grow into stronger adults. They wouldn't have those experiences that are going to shape their future. It's hard to go through those failures, but it's also necessary. And they create a stronger team for you, and you're going to be a stronger leader. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So if you're doing something and you're not happy with the results with your team and you keep doing it over and over and over again, it might be time to kind of look at the problem and maybe pick a different solution, try to pick a different resolution. And that's where reaching out to your power partner, your upline, your downline, Googling YouTube videos is really helpful. No matter your undertaking as a leader, there's always going to be people who oppose whatever that decision is or seek opposition just in general. There's going to be negative people out there. You could be the best leader out there. Guess what? People are not going to like you. You can have the best idea ever. Somebody's going to hate it and going to point out every flaw they have with your amazing idea, but you cannot take that to heart. You need to look at it and say, you know what? No, I'm the leader of the team. I think that this is going to work, and you're going to have to know that there's going to be people who are not going to like you. Sometimes, though, those people that are just constantly like that negative Nelly type person, you have to block them out. We call it putting blinders on. You can't see over here. You can't see over here what's going on. You're looking straight forward to the goal, and you're ignoring this opposition. Because when you're focusing over here on this distraction, you're then leading your team over there without realizing it. You need to stay focused and lead your team towards that goal and envisioning what you have for them, because it's going to get them off track as well. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't ever deal with opposition, but sometimes you have to, let them know that it doesn't bother you. Some people like to bother just to bother, to see your reaction. So usually the best antidote for criticism is success. I have many friends that have told me from day one, you're never going to make it with Plexus. Oh, Plexus is nothing. And you know what? I just say, watch me. I will make it to the top. And you can talk your smack all you want, but in the end, I will be successful and you'll still be saying it doesn't work, and we'll see who's right in the end. You cannot let it get to you. These are a few little ways that you can learn. One of the things is learning from books. I know we have a lot of readers on our team, and I did like this quote by Harry Truman: "Not all readers are leaders, but all leaders are readers." And at first I was like, well, that's kind of rude. I don't read books, but I'm a leader. But then I started thinking about, well, I read in different forms. I read by Audible, and I do like to read. I just don't have a chance to. But it is true, because if you're reading more, you're learning more about different aspects in life, different ways that you can encourage your team. If you read just one book a week, and I'm not talking a fickle novel-like book, it could be, a easy read. But if you just do one book a week, that's 52 books a year, and in 10 years, that's 520 books, which will put you at the top 1% of our field, because most people sadly don't read. Reading makes you more motivated, better educated, and a better leader in Plexus overall, not just your team, but the company. And I can say that that is true, because every time I get done reading our chapter for this Sunday night Zoom, I'm like, yes, let's go, let's do it. I am so motivated. But if you don't have time to actually sit down and read, technology is, I'm so glad I live in this day and age, because it's so easy for me to just put one earbud in so I can still hear my children. You can listen to so many books on Audible, audible.com. It's really inexpensive to join, and usually it's cheaper to download the book than it is to actually buy the book. You can plug it into your car so it plays through your speakers, but use this to your advantage too, to do it like if you're cleaning, or if you're driving a long distance. The difference between audio and just reading is that by not just reading the text, you can hear it. And a lot of times hearing that tone can resonate a little bit more than just reading it. You can hear the person reading, oftentimes it's the author, and you can hear their intention in how they want to convey something. And I did not know this, but it causes a different brain function to function. And then learn from videos. Videos are one of my most favorite ways to learn, because I love seeing the person's body language. They're powerful because they provide both visual and audio learning, and you can, write stuff on a whiteboard. They can show things. YouTube they have so many videos. You do not need to reinvent the wheel. I have so many people get frustrated because they're trying to kick off their business and redo everything. Go to YouTube. Google Sonia Dudley. She was like my mentor for my first year. I did not know what the heck I was doing, and I would Google what to say to people. And she's created so many things, as have Melissa, our Diamond Upline, Sarah Marble. And these videos are there to help you. So you're going to learn from your coaches and your mentors. Videos are so powerful. So don't let all your learning lead to knowledge. Let it lead to action. So I want to challenge you this next week. As you learn and grow, I want you to pick something every day to learn about, whether it's the comp plan, the products, whether it's something about leading your team, whatever it is. I want you to not just learn it and file it in your brain. I want you to put it into action this week. This is where your business is going to take off, because you can learn and think things are great all day long, but unless you do something about it, it's not going to benefit. So that is what I have for you all today. Let me stop the share. I hope that you all have been having a great week. I'm going to see if Kim is on here. Kim, did you have anything to add?
Hey, just wanted to add that next week, Teague's on, and he's got his microphone on. I told him to mute it. It's making a crazy sound for me. Anyway, next week I'm going to be covering, the second stair step, which is performing. So the second level of influence is performing. So that'll be next. Looks good.
Awesome.
That's all I have.
Okay.